Welcome to the Tom Bernard Podcast with
co-host Catherine Brandt,
Andy Brandt Bernard,
and Kristen Burt.
Kristen's on the phone today because she's a big shot, typical. Typical.
She's a mover and a shaker.
Mover and a shaker. So can you tell us what you're on the phone about, or is it secret?
It's not secret. I am at KTBS today, so I've got a full day in the studio doing some recording. Yeah.
KPBS, getting it set for Los Angeles. Is that what they say?
Well, we're down in San Diego, so I am down in San Diego now. So I did the show yesterday, then drove down to San Diego and worked in the studio yesterday afternoon.
Oh, my God.
I'm here. I know. I'm busy.
God, I did television intros forever. I did it for just about every market in America, I think. Getting it said for Bloomington, Illinois. It's one of those kind of deals. So, big day coming up today for all of us, I will tell you that. And this is why it's such a big day. Because Catherine is going to go meet a friend of hers for lunch and hang out with her all afternoon.
Big day.
And that means I had to go. There's a store here called Joseph's. It's a magnificent store. Andy, you've had Joseph's Pizza.
Yeah.
And we're going to have it when you're down and talking to and all the rest of it. But I went and got a haircut. I went to Joseph's and bought some pizza.
Oh, you love their pizza.
Oh, God, their pizza's so wonderful. And Catherine's going to be gone all day, so I'm going to do a double feature. And I was thinking, and maybe you could suggest some stuff for me, Kristen. I figured I'd do, because Catherine hates both of these, I'd find a scary movie and then find a mobster movie. So, any suggestions?
Ooh, a scary movie and a mobster movie. Heretic would have been the first thing I would have suggested.
Yeah.
Oh, Heretic was wonderful.
Too late for that.
Yep.
I know. You know what? Have you seen, this is one of my favorite ones. I think it's so scary. It's with Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler, and it's from a while ago, but it's called The Strangers.
Oh, do you think?
Andy, I don't know if you saw it, because you'd probably be of that age range when you went to, when people were going to see scary movies all the time at the theaters, but it's about a couple, and they go and get a house in the country, and people constantly are, knocking on their door until they start taking over the house.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, I remember.
Oh,
I remember when that came out.
That doesn't sound familiar to me.
And then they get turned into centerpieces, right?
Not get turned into centerpieces. Did we ever find out what that movie was?
I don't think so.
No, I looked and looked. I'm going to have to ask her what she was talking about, because she was very...
I was wondering.
The woman that cuts my hair. She's like, the centerpiece. Doctors that turn people into centerpieces. I'm like, I Googled it every which way. I asked Grok, whatever his name is, and I got nothing.
I don't know.
So this is The Strangers?
The Strangers.
It's called The Strangers.
Yeah.
Well, should I save that for Catherine, though?
Tyler.
Maybe I should save that.
Do you want to watch something like that?
Sometimes I do. If it's not too gory, if it's more psychological thrillers, then I like them. But I don't like really gory movies at all.
Yeah, it's mostly psychological, and it's pretty terrifying. It's like that home invasion idea that is just really scary to think about. Like you're home and people are trying to get into your house.
Yeah, really scary.
Yeah, that would not be good. And then, is there a mobster movie that you could recommend that semi-new?
I know, a mobster movie. I know, I wish Mobland was out, because you would have been perfect for that. You've got to wait a couple weeks. Yeah, well, Mobland's not out until March 30th on Paramount Plus. So
see, you got to screw with me.
There's so
10
many.
days.
There's so many mob movies, though.
Yep.
There's a lot of mob movies. There's no question about that.
How about My Cousin Vinny? Have you seen My Cousin Vinny in a while?
Oh, yeah. I love that movie. That was a very good movie.
Good.
Joe Pesci, right?
Yeah.
Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei. She won the Oscar for that.
I'm telling you, honest to God, I love Joe Pesci. He delivers that mob character so well. I just love the guy.
He's hilarious.
He is.
So well done. That's why I was like, maybe it's worth a revisit. See if it holds up.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat pizza and watch a double feature today while Catherine is out gallivanting around with her buddies.
Hey, Kristen, I have a question about A Complete Unknown.
Yes.
What's the actor's name that was playing?
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet.
Did he get? I mean, I don't really follow the Oscars. Did he get nominated or win anything for that?
He did. He was nominated for Best Actor,
Oh,
and
good.
the award was between him and Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. And I think, it's so interesting that you even ask about that, because Timothée Chalamet won the SAG Award, which was the week before the Oscars, but Oscar voting had already closed. And I kind of think if Oscar voting had been open and everyone saw that he won the SAG Award, I think it would have pushed him over the edge. I just think they were neck and neck in terms of who was going to win that Oscar in the end.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're both great
Pretty
actors.
shocking that he didn't win, really.
Oh, he's so good. And he's someone that is very similar to Leonardo DiCaprio, having a lot of really strong roles at a young age. And I think what happens here, because, awards get political, or people just get, well, he's still young, he's got time. It's not his time yet. It's that weird psychological aspect of it where you have
did
to
he do
wait
the
for your
job or
award.
not? Yeah, that's dumb.
No, that's exactly it. But yeah, so we love that movie. But Adrian Brody's phenomenal as well. That's a tough call because they're both terrific.
Both terrific, but I will tell you that Adrian Brody's acceptance speech was insufferable, and I think a lot of people when it voted for Adrian were probably thinking, I should have voted for Timmy.
What did he say that pissed everybody off?
He did his usual thank you, which was fine. And then he was like, they started to play him off. And he goes, no, I've been up here before. You're going to stop. And
oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And then, went into the aspects of anti-Semitism, and which was fine, because that was part, it was discussed in The Brutalist and everything else. But it was done in a way that was so obnoxious that you were just like, get the heck off the stage. And he went on for like over 2.5 minutes, which I think is the longest Oscar speech that's ever happened.
Oh.
The longest ever.
Ever.
Let's see.
Gross.
Unbelievable.
Yes, it looks like he was the longest one in Oscars history, surpassing the previous record held by Greer Garson, whoever that is.
There you go.
No, that was a long time ago.
I'm just here delivering the facts, you guys.
Yeah, you are.
So all you ever do is deliver facts.
Now, before delivered her speech in 1943, so it's an 82-year record just broken.
Well, a lot was going on back then.
There you have it.
True.
I have to mention one thing to you, Kristen, before we move on, because I want to hear everything you have to say. But I tested something out on social media. And usually on social media, like I was checking some that surround this one that I posted yesterday, and I get somewhere between 4,000 and 50,000 responses to my stuff, right? The one where I posted last week, it got like 48,000 views. I posted one yesterday morning that got 5.1 thousand views. There's another one for it's between 4,000 and about 50,000, right? So I thought I'd test the water yesterday. And I did test the water yesterday. I'll read it to you, and then I'll tell you the response it got. One of the great things in my life was the realization that at this point in my life, I am not a Republican and I am not a Democrat. I am an observer. I have very dear friends who are Democrats, and I have very dear friends who are Republican. I also believe people of my children's age should shape the future. I have had and still have a wonderful life. Thank you very much. Very positive, don't you think?
Yes, and I know that people probably jumped all over you.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, 878 views. Nobody is reading it.
No, nobody likes positive stuff.
That's true.
It's like, it's too positive. I'm not reading that.
They're like, I got nothing to say about that. I thought they would. Well, hey, that's a better reaction, I guess, than everyone jumping all over you and being negative.
No, it just means,
I'd rather go nowhere.
Well, just remember one thing before, and I'll close with this. My negative comments all come right after bar closing, which I think is hilarious. If I get negative responses, it's always like 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's hilarious.
I
I
think
wonder if
it
they're
is.
coming from overseas, though. Like, there are a lot of people who are on Twitter that, the international audience. So
Very true. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So, what's the latest with you?
Well, we have a question from the chat for Kristen.
Oh, okay.
He wants to know if you have any streaming package deals that you recommend.
Oh, I know that there's a bundle going on, right? A bundle deal going on with Disney Plus and Hulu, and I think it's $3 a month right now.
Wow.
So if you're not a subscriber, like that's the thing, you have to be a new subscriber. So if you're a new subscriber, you'll be able to grab that deal.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah. But I can go look up some more if there's anything else happening. This isn't usually the time of year where they do a lot of the sales. I know that I talked about it during Black Friday because they do those crazy like $1.99 a month for the next year, next 12 months, things like that. Those are usually the good times. But I'll look and see if there's something coming up maybe for Memorial Day or some of the other long weekends. They do them sometimes.
Excellent. That works for me. Yeah, I'm kind of, I know it sounds really weird. I feel kind of like a teenager again. It's like, ooh, I got some pizza and I'm going to watch a double feature at home. It's like I'm all excited about it. Why? It's not really in my age bracket. Why am I so excited about this?
Do you know what it is? And I'm going to tell you because we do this in our house. We call it Bachelor or Bachelorette night.
Oh.
That's what it is. No, it's really nice to have an afternoon to yourself. You do whatever you want with the TV. You eat the snacks that you want. And your significant other is out having fun, doing what they want. And
That's correct.
There's nothing wrong with it. And I think it's very healthy.
Yeah, I mean, if Catherine was going to court or something like that, I wouldn't be so excited about being at home alone. But she's
court.
Well, I don't know. You've never been arrested. Maybe it'll happen one of these days.
Not yet.
You
Just wait.
You'll just wait for.
When I'm 80, I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff.
Yes, when you're 80 years old.
I'm going crazy.
Many years from now, she's going to go nuts. That'll be just magnificent.
Yep, I'm going to be that old lady.
No doubt about it. But yeah, thanks for your suggestion on the movies today because I just Jude and I are going to be just hanging out. Jude will be sleeping, of course.
Jude.
He does do that.
He does indeed. There's no question about it. But again, Chris, and I know I bring this up almost every day when you're on, but television is getting better and better and better. But I would agree with Alex, and I think Andy and you, Kristen, said the same thing. We watched episode 2 of, what is it called, Adolescence?
Yeah.
Horrible.
It's going nowhere fast for me.
The first episode I thought
No.
it was terrible.
It's just way too much with this whole live, non-stop camera, whatever the hell they're doing. It's just so much walking around.
Yeah.
We're going down the hallway. We're going down the hallway. We're going down the stairs. We're going down the stairs. We're going up the stairs. We're going down the stairs. We're walking down a hallway. We're walking to our cars. It's like so boring.
It was.
Sorry.
No, it's like it's okay. It's really considered kind of one of the groundbreaking shows of this television season.
Sure.
Not for everyone clearly, but we'll see what happens at the Emmys when I'm like, adolescents swept the Emmys. You guys will be like, how?
I mean, I understand, but it also just kind of reminds me of all of those. Remember, what were those horror movies about all the people carrying their cameras through the woods as they're running?
Blair Witch and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was also, once again, it was
Yeah.
just so boring. Oh, we're running through the forest. We're running through the forest. Oh, it's dark in the forest. Oh, there's some rustling in the forest. It was so boring to me.
Yeah, the found footage trend was, I never got into that. I mean,
No.
it's people liked it because it was like real. You know, you watch a horror movie, you watch Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever, and it's doesn't seem real at all.
No.
But then you got stuff like the Blair Witch Project, and people were actually like, they thought it was real. They thought these people were actually being murdered in the woods, and a production company decided to monetize that because people are stupid. But the point is,
But it was smart and groundbreaking at the time.
Right.
And social media wasn't a thing. If social media was a thing, we would have known right away.
yeah.
Well, this just doesn't feel groundbreaking to me. I feel like, this has been, I don't know, I feel like this has been done
I mean, one-shot
I mean-
things have been done before, but they're very rare because they're incredibly difficult.
and obviously
So
boring.
difficult. They're not, though. I mean, a lot of times you'll see a one shot in movies, or oftentimes in dance productions, they'll do a dance number as a one shot.
Oh, yeah.
Not the whole entire episode, but a particular scene. And they're so intricate and they're so complex, especially with steady cams. I know that, in this show they utilized a drone, and how they utilize the drone is pretty amazing to watch some of the behind the scenes of it. And so it's a marvel in and of itself in terms of filmmaking, and I think that's what people are celebrating too, just because what they did is a non-traditional form of filmmaking.
Well, I'm tapping out. Just not holding my attention. Sorry.
Chad in the chat wants to know if you know anything about another Perfect Couple series.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit because we did season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about on Netflix, and season 2 is coming up. It is renewed, and I think they just talked about it the other day in terms of what's happening. But I don't have all of those details, but there is a season 2. So I will come and for sure deliver all the details tomorrow if you guys want me to. That's probably the best thing to do in terms of what there is to talk about. I can or Andy, just give me the details in the chat, and then I can bring it up the next day.
Sure, that's great.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just tune in tomorrow for the exciting conclusion.
It'll be a one-shot.
Conclusion of another Perfect Couple, yeah. Well, the first season was so good on Netflix with Nicole Kidman. Tom, I believe you watched it, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I like Nicole. She's in everything now. I will say that she is in every TV show now, but she is good.
Getting a little fatigued with her, I guess.
She's taking a break. She said, I've done a little bit.
Yeah.
People are getting tired of me, so she is going to be taking a break from the screen. She still has a bunch of projects that are already banked, but I think she's going to be taking a couple of years off, which is probably good for her.
I like a lot of the stuff that she's in. But what does happen? Why does some person just get so hot that they just have to be in every series? Everybody wants them, and nobody else is getting any work, but this person's, got 10 projects every year. What happens in that?
Well, Nicole Kidman, I think, she produces a lot of her own projects, so she's been in control of her career, which has helped. But I think that there's a fear, particularly for women, that, you kind of hit a certain age.
Sure.
They used to say 40, now maybe it's 50, where you think I'm not going to work, and so I need to work, and I'll produce my own work, and that keeps me running into business. And I just think that there's a weird psychological aspect to a lot of it. Like Reese Witherspoon works a lot too, and she's another one who produces a lot of her own projects. And, they want to make sure that people see their face, but I think Nicole realizes that we've seen a lot of her face in the last few years.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I should mention to people, and I really, really do like this fact, and I didn't even think about it when I got on X, but if you want to make a comment on the show, you can just go to my Tom Bernard on X, because when you post, it shows up on my watch, which I'm wearing right now, and I like that, the fact that you can reach out directly, and I can, you don't have to mess with the show at all. I can just look down at my watch and see what it is. I love that.
Hopefully you're not asking for trouble.
Believe me, since I've been in radio, starting at 18 years old, I've had a lot of things said about me that if I cared, I'd be destroyed by now. I couldn't care less.
What is the show that we just finished watching with Ray Romano and Lisa Kudrow?
Oh, yeah.
Kudrow?
That was good. I don't remember the name.
It was a limited series.
Yeah, it was like 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Was the one on Netflix?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, say that again.
No Good Deed.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was on. Yep.
They wouldn't read.
I didn't love it.
No.
I thought it was okay. It started off good, and then I was like, okay. I just kind of slogged through it. Compared to say Running Point, where I felt like that one, just the writing sort of soared through the whole series.
Yeah, I feel like we watched a couple of episodes and then we sort of took a break from it because, the writing could have moved along faster. But Ray Romano was really good in it, and it was nice to see Lisa in something.
I love her. She's such a good actress. And I feel like she's someone who doesn't work as much. And I don't know if that's by choice or what, but I feel like she should be utilized more.
She's got all that Friends money.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a Romy and Michelle's sequel, so I know that is happening.
Kristen, a person just asked me, did they ever or are they going to make a biography about Don Rickles?
Ooh.
I'm surprised they
heard of
haven't.
one. I'm even surprised that they haven't done maybe even like a docuseries or a documentary. I don't
Right.
think we've even seen that.
I mean, he changed comedy forever.
Yeah, but do you think the world's ready for watching him do what he did because everybody's such a hothouse flower? I mean, he was pretty brutal.
He was brutal. There's no doubt about that. My favorite thing he
You
ever.
almost need someone. I mean, I feel like Netflix would do it because they're so heavily invested in comedy. But it's definitely one of those things. Does that serve their market? Because I feel like a lot of their demographic is Gen Z. Is Gen Z going to even know who Don Rickles is?
Well,
Right.
he was, I mean, Gen Z, it's debatable, but I mean, he was in Toy Story, so a lot of people still,
Yep.
But Gen Z's not even invested in Pixar. Like, that's the crazy thing.
yeah, I know. It's like, how old is the oldest Gen Z? Like 25 or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, my niece is
It's
an elder
97.
Gen Z or so. Yeah,
So yeah, they'd be
she's
28.
99.
Well, I mean, Toy Story 4 came, but John Rickles technically wasn't in Toy Story 4, so
Right.
yeah. But
And it's not like, because Don Rickles was also very prevalent when Regis Philbin was alive, because Regis would bring him on
Yeah.
his morning talk show a lot. So you still see him quite a bit before he passed.
I mean, to be
that's been a
honest,
while.
as a millennial and not even a younger millennial, if not for Toy Story, I probably wouldn't really know who he is.
No.
That's unfortunate. We only have one more minute with Ms. Burt, so we better spend it wisely by letting her talk.
I mean, wisely. Yeah. So if you're looking for a show tonight, The Resident is a new comedy from Shonda Rhimes. It's on Netflix, and it is a kind of a detective. It's very quirky. It's a murder mystery. It happens when the White House chief butler found dead during a state dinner, and everybody at the party and, of course, everyone on staff is a suspect.
We love it.
Yeah.
Look at that. Hard out. We got you out on your hard out. What do you think of that?
I appreciate that. And I know that Sarah had asked about Ted Lasso. I'll bring you that tomorrow, and Another Perfect Couple.
Sounds great. Well, have a good day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Bye.
Kristen Burt, Entertainment News, brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple minutes right after this. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Have you ever seen a squawk stairs? Well, look at mine.
Mom's rocking out. Did you see that, Andy?
I did.
So the stuff on Twitter today
Ooh,
X.
here we go.
Sorry.
X.
Americans are cutting back on Doritos, Goldfish, and Hostess cakes.
I certainly have been.
Why do you think that they are doing it?
Because they make
Host-
you feel-
Why would a news station report this?
Oh, I'm guessing because Elon Musk eats them or some stupid shit.
Because I saw a bag in a Tesla one time and
Yeah,
I can't
exactly.
ever
Yeah,
eat them
that's
again.
about it.
That's probably what it is. It says this article says it's not for their health. However, it's a sign. It's a sign that even small indulgences have gotten too expensive for many to afford.
I
Really?
don't buy that. A bag like you can get a 10,000-pound bag of Doritos for $4.
Yeah, especially if you go to Costco or Sam's
No,
or
Doritos.
yeah.
No one's cutting back on Doritos because they're too costly.
Okay, well, the responses are GLP-1 are the reason. If you can listen to the earnings
okay.
calls of these companies, they say the weight loss drugs from Lilly and Novo are
Oh,
removing
yeah.
people's desire to consume these products. It's not about price, poor reporting. Everybody else is, oh no, people are going to inadvertently be healthier because they can't indulge upon their cancer-causing slop.
Well,
Health reasons. People are being enlightened about all the seed oils and all the crap. These prices aren't new. They've been this high for 3 years. I mean, I've started purchasing everything made in avocado oil.
yeah. No, we
Potato chips.
we've been avoiding soybean oil forever because Melissa's like sensitive to soy now.
Yeah.
And we have been finding like if it doesn't have soybean oil, it's usually like avocado or coconut or something
Right.
like that.
Yes. So this kind of story, it is interesting because if people are snacking on garbage food less, that's good for the world
Yeah.
because they might lose some weight and be healthier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say Doritos are going to kill you if you eat them every so often, but I mean, there are people
No.
out there who eat an entire bag of them every day, and that's
Yeah.
never a good idea.
Yeah, it's like once in a while, maybe twice a year. For some reason, when I go to Home Depot, I want a bag of Cheetos.
Yeah,
I buy a little tiny bag of Cheetos and I eat,
half of it.
about half of it. And I always feel like I'm going to throw up or something
Yep.
because they're so disgusting, but I still want them. I don't know why.
I know.
And then I usually throw away the little half bag. But when I go to Home Depot, I want them again, even though I don't even really like them.
Although I found that as I age, like I've always, for a long time, I had like a thing. Like every so often, I'd want to get some Burger King, and it was
You loved Burger King as a preteen.
as a teenager, I
Oh
sure
my
did. And,
God.
yeah, I ate so much Burger King, and then I ate it less and less. And then in my 20s, I got to the point where I was eating it like twice a year. And now, like the last time I had Burger King, I felt like crap for 6 hours afterwards.
Really?
And now I just have zero desire for it. Wendy's,
it's-
I would still eat if I could, but
Yeah.
Yeah, Wendy's is pretty good still.
but still, I make even that. I don't know. It doesn't make you feel good afterwards.
No, when we drive from Minnesota to Florida and Florida back to Minnesota, I'll stop for a Wendy's. I think
Yeah.
that Wendy's burgers are probably the best thing on. A lot of times on the road, there's not a lot of choices in some towns.
Culver's is definitely our go-to.
Or
when we
Culver's.
have to get fast
Yeah.
food.
Yes,
Yeah.
very
Which
good.
with a toddler and a baby is actually not as frequent as you'd think, but certainly more than it used to be.
Yeah,
We
and
should
then
probably,
the other.
and you have another thing?
Well, I just was going to say your governor, Andy, Tim Walz, has been all over social media.
Not your
about-
governor anymore.
No, not my governor. Yep. He's last thing he said was, "I think this is from Walz, a quote. I think I scare them a little bit."
Yeah,
He's
that's what he-
talking
that's
about
what he thinks.
Republicans
Yep.
because I can fix a truck.
That makes no sense.
What? I just don't understand these people. These politicians.
He's like 60, I
It
think.
sounds
is
like
he?
something like a 90-year-old would say. Yeah, he's only 60.
Well, he also said that he could kick their asses, and he also was droning on about how happy he was that Tesla stock was going down. And what's really amazing about that is the state of Minnesota pension fund for state workers, owns a whole lot of Tesla stock.
It does, yeah, lots.
And he's rooting for it to go down. And Tesla just built a, I don't remember if it's a showroom or a factory of some kind in Minnesota.
Yep.
So these are jobs, these are people's pensions, and he just doesn't care about anything other than his political grandstanding.
Look how Caitlyn Jenner tweeted, "I am more masculine than Governor Walz." An interesting thing to say.
Oh, he's catching a lot of flack.
Well, he
Well,
should.
it's a weird thing to say. Like, I'm so manly, you're scared of me.
Well,
Yeah.
he had a lot when he was prancing around the stage doing his jazz hands and his
Yep.
Rockettes kicks.
Oh, yeah.
People were like, who is this guy? I thought he was supposed to be the hunter, gatherer kind and supposed to be everybody's dad and all this stuff. And all of a sudden he's just,
No, so he's trying to salvage his image.
yeah, he was really, really getting into the big stage.
Well, let me ask you guys a question, because I was one of the first people in the world to buy a Tesla. I think they had the first year and the first couple of months they sold, I don't know, about 50 of them worldwide. And I bought one of them. I liked my Tesla. I thought it was wonderful. I was trying to protect the environment. I still own an electric vehicle, as a matter of fact. It's a Ford. But I'm not wild about them like I used to be. But I don't understand something. So this guy develops a car. I don't think he invented the technology, but he developed a car, looks really nice, really got great speed, doesn't pollute the environment at all. So how can your response to him, the fact that you don't like him, is to burn a car that doesn't pollute,
I know.
therefore polluting the environment? How do you get that through your brain? I don't get it.
And keying cars takes
Yeah.
more, the repair stuff is paint, which is toxic.
Yep.
And all the other stuff is
know.
not good for the environment. It's amazing how when it's in their brains that they're doing something to hurt someone, it's
Yeah.
okay, even though supposedly the environment is, we're all going to die in 5 years. Aren't we supposed to all die in 5 years?
No, are we? Be
Or
poisoned?
We've been
are we all
live
supposed to be
for 5
dead
years for
already?
A long time.
Yeah, we've been dying forever.
Oh, we have.
New York
Yeah.
was going to be underwater like 20 years ago.
Florida's underwater.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. Really, that's the most obvious thing is, why would you start something on fire and pollute the environment, and that something doesn't pollute the environment? That makes
not to
no
mention-
sense to me at all.
What do you think is going to happen now that the Tesla has been destroyed? They're just going to have to manufacture another one to replace it.
Exactly, because it's insured.
It's very like toddler level thinking.
It really is.
Like,
Well,
I'm good at
also-
this thing, so I'm just going to break it, and the future doesn't exist, so whatever.
Libs of TikTok has a video of a man sticking his hand up his butt and wiping it on a Cybertruck. And little do they know, apparently, when you exit a Tesla, there's something called Sentry Mode, which turns on all kinds of cameras around it.
Oh,
Right.
whoops.
It does, yes.
And they've got their faces, their bodies, their actions on camera when they do this stuff, and they're not going to get away with it. I mean, and now this guy, he's all over the internet wiping his butt.
Oh, you're looking at it?
Oh, this guy's
Yeah.
life is ruined, in my opinion. I
Good.
don't think anyone's going to think of him as a hero. I mean, maybe a couple of people will, but
Can I
this
see
is.
it? This is
I see it?
actually wiping poop.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, wait a
stick-
minute. It scrolled like mad.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, I just don't think that this, how you think that you're being perceived is as a hero by wrecking someone's car. A lot of people have had these cars for years. For absolutely years. When they bought one, people were like, "Oh, what are you, a tree hugger?
Right,
What are you, a
absolutely.
hippie?
Yep.
What is up with you now that you're doing all of this?" And now all of a sudden they're the most evil Nazis that ever walked the planet.
Yep.
It's Jesus. I mean, you can't win with these people.
No, it's true.
Well, on
We
a
better take a break.
positive note, quickly before our break and
Yes.
our guest,
Okay.
we should say congratulations to Lou Nanny, Carolyn Lowe, and Terry Train for all being in the Minnesota Broadcaster Hall of Fame.
Oh, they all made it?
Yep.
Lou Nanny wasn't in it already?
Apparently not. Now he's in.
Okay, so it's
Hockey
Terry
Rock.
Train
Legend.
and Lou Nanny and who else?
Carolyn Lowe.
Oh, Carolyn
from
Lowe. Yeah, she's
WCCO.
very nice too. WCCO. Well, congratulations to all of them. I've been friends with or worked with all three of them. I worked with Terry Train, obviously, and Louie Nanny's a good friend of the family, as a matter of fact. Carolyn Lowe I've known for a long time. Very, very pleasant, so that's nice to hear. No question about the Minnesota Broadcasting Hall of Fame you're talking about.
Yep.
What year did we get in? I forgot.
18.
Those no, 18 was a national Hall
You
of
got
Fame.
in.
No, I think it was also the Minnesota one.
Was it really?
I looked up your entry on their site, and I'm pretty sure it said you were inducted 1/1/18.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call all three of them and go, yeah, well, hopefully one of these days you'll get in the National Hall of Fame too, but
Maybe you'll be as good as I am one day.
Yeah, exactly. No, they all deserve it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Let's see.
So glad to hear it.
Induction date, 1/1/2018.
That's when I got into the Minnesota Hall of Fame.
Yes, the Pavic Museum.
Well, what is that? Because I got in August of some year to the National Radio Hall of Fame.
That was 2017.
That was 20. I got in.
That was the year
So-
before.
Please don't
I got into
touch
the national one quicker than the local one.
Yes.
Yeah.
geez,
Don't
that's
touch the
weird.
screen.
Don't
Okay, I'm
touch
not
the
touching
screen.
the screen.
Okay.
This
Oh,
guy
you're
is
watching the
literally
video?
digging up his butt and wiping poop on a car. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, is this the flex that you want to go with?
I better take a break so I can breathe for a couple of minutes. We'll take a break, be right back. As a matter of fact, we have a special guest coming up, do we not, Andrew?
Yes, I will call her right after we get done with the break because I
All right,
can't.
sounds good. Breanna Morello will talk about swatting with us right after this.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
MyPillow is excited to announce that they are extending the mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save $40 on the new spring MyPillow bed sheets, any size, any color. Get the 6-piece bath or kitchen towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And the best-selling standard MyPillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of the mega sale 2.0, go to mypillow.com, use promo code TOM. But that's not all. You will get free shipping on orders over $75. Today's show brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Josh Arnold, a pal of mine, as a matter of fact. So what's going on, Andrew?
I will call our guest now.
All right, sounds good. You
The
said you
chat
want to mention
still
something,
talking
Kathy?
about hamburgers.
Who is?
The chat.
They're still talking about hamburgers? What? I have not had a fast food hamburger in many, many years, and I'm not avoiding them. I just don't go there anymore. Why is that?
Well, we do when we do a road trip. Because sometimes there's just nothing else to eat other than like I said, a Wendy's or something.
And I have nothing against Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's,
can't eat it
Culver's, all that stuff, but I just don't do it anymore. Maybe they're just so packed when I drive by.
Well, there's just such great food around here that
Yeah,
you can go
that's
pick
true.
up. You can pick up a great pizza. You can
That's
pick up a
very
great
true.
hamburger. Like Burger Fi's got a really good burger.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean
a
they're
really good
expensive,
burger, yeah.
but
They
All
are
right.
more expensive. It's true. You ready to go, Andrew?
We are ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, sponsored by Josh Arnold, Breanna Morello. How you doing, Breanna?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Well, haven't been swatted yet, so I'm very, very happy. We have a friend who was swatted last week, though.
Yep.
Or this week, I guess it was, what, Monday, Andy?
Was it Monday? Was it?
it was over the weekend. I
Yeah, I
thought.
Oh,
think
Sunday
it
or
was
Monday? Yeah, it's probably Sunday. Saturday or Sunday, I guess, Breanna, but you got swatted. And I remember this happened a long, long time ago, and then it just went away. What brought it back, Breanna?
Well, we don't really know, and that's the concerning part in all of this, right? Because we don't understand why all of a sudden this is coming back. But Here's my issue with it. I think our federal government has done a bad job at showing how they punish those who do false calls.
Yep.
And I think that's the real criticism here. You know, everyone's favorite person on X, Cat Turd, has been swatted 4 times. But the person who did it 3 times back to back to back was actually caught by the DOJ and was prosecuted. And I think last time I spoke with him, he said the person was sentenced to a very tough sentence. I think it was in the 6-year range.
Oh.
So we don't talk about it enough. I mean, these people need to know. You're not just sitting here making a prank call. You are going to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and you're going away for a very long time.
Now, Breanna, I know who Cat Turd is. I'm on X myself, as a matter of fact.
Love Cat Turd.
But, I mean, what did he do that made people that angry at him? Because I don't see anything that's that big a deal.
Exactly. Listen, this is like the point that I want to drive home. Just because you disagree with them politically doesn't mean you should have them murdered. I mean, that's what they're doing, is they're trying to have them murdered. You're literally sending law enforcement into someone's home in the middle of the night, conservatives, who we all know are armed, and you're setting people up for a really bad disaster. I don't think Tesla's ever said anything bad. He gives his opinion. He's funny. He's really light-humored. Like, this is not someone who should be punished with this type of behavior. But he's dealing with it again. It happened to him a 4th time. But, you know, jokes on the person who's doing it. He's close friends with his local law enforcement. And so when these things happen, they respond, of course. But they have an idea in mind that it could be a prank caller.
Well, and another thing is the state of Minnesota has you have to run away from any conflict, or you get just in much trouble as somebody pointing a gun at you.
Well, it depends. If you're in your house, we do have castle doctrine, I think. Maybe
I don't
Officer
think
Dave
we
wants to
do
clarify
anymore.
that. We don't have stand your ground. I know that much. So if you're out in public and someone tries to, you know, go after you, you have to run away if you can. But I think Minnesota does have castle doctrine, and Dave is listening, so he will clarify that for me. Castle doctrine only applies in your own house. But the problem is, even if we do have castle doctrine, 6 guys with rifles, you shoot one of them, you're just going to die. So it doesn't really matter anyway.
No, I'm talking about if you think that somebody is at your door and you don't know who it is. You know, it's the middle of the night. It's 2:00 in the morning. You're not thinking right. You might just shoot somebody because they come in your house, right?
Yeah.
And it could be a cop.
Yeah.
I want to give you a scenario, too, that law enforcement kind of told us about when they went after someone who they thought there was an active shooter in someone's home. I mean, they thought they were on the phone with the 911 caller. They thought they were on the phone with the homeowner. And so the homeowner is saying, I've been shot. I'm upstairs. Someone who broke through my front door. And so law enforcement thinks they have the legal right to enter your home now because they're speaking with the homeowner who's asking them to come help. But in fact, they're not. They're speaking with somebody who's trying to pretend to be the homeowner. And the only thing that stopped police from entering his home was the fact that their front door and windows were locked. The 911 caller, who was obviously setting this person up, was saying, oh, they bashed through my front door. So that doesn't match what's happening on the 911 call. So that was the big trigger moment for law enforcement to know, hold on a second, don't go in. Something's not right here. But this is why I'm reminding everyone, you know, this isn't just happening to people with massive followings on social media. This is happening to people who don't have massive followings on social media. So keep in mind, this could happen to anyone. I mean, it could be they might not like your family member who puts up political posts, and they might try to just go after you. I mean, you don't know. So the key point here is lock your front doors, lock your windows every night, because that's how you prevent law enforcement from entering your home in case it does happen to you.
Now, Breanna, did they understand, and, you know, I'd probably bring attention to myself saying this, but it seems like such a cowardly thing to do. You're hiding out in your house somewhere, you're on the phone, you're calling the cops, and a police officer was killed in one of those setups, was he not?
Not in the recent ones. I've not heard of that yet.
Yeah, I think
know
one
there
time.
was a member of law enforcement killed a couple of years back, though.
A couple of years back, right?
What happened with the days where if you're that upset with someone that you want to hurt them, that you go where they are and confront them in person? Why don't people do that anymore?
Well, they do. I mean, the left does it often. I think that the reality is whoever this person is, they're a coward and they're enjoying. And this is why I tell people who are being swatted not to post it on social media. I'm connecting individuals to law enforcement, but the person who's doing this is enjoying sitting back and watching all of this. They're doing tactics like not only calling the police on you, but calling Domino's, calling Papa John's, calling Pizza Hut, and sending unsolicited pizza orders to your home. And sadly, Pizza Hut, Domino's, and Papa John's have been doing anything to stop this. Because this is how they're able to get away with it. They're just using the cash on delivery option that they have. So drivers are coming to people's doors asking for cash payments. Obviously, they didn't order it, so it's telling them to go away. But it's taunting. They're trying to show we know where you live. And this is happening before and even after the swatting. Juanita Broderick is another one who a lot of people probably follow on X. She told me that she was getting all these pizza delivery orders. And I was the one who uncovered the fact that pizza deliveries do play a role in the swatting that's going on right now. And so
right.
I went and called her local pizzerias and told them to stop delivering to her home. And while I was on the phone with Pizza Hut's like, hey, we just got an actual order for her online, and they're asking us to bring it to her home, but we voided it. So this is ongoing. Sadly, I've asked all these companies for comment, and nobody seems to want to comment on this. It's preventable. If Domino's wants to keep its cash on delivery option, they're more than welcome to. But all they have to do is hire a third party, which these companies exist. I've used them before, to scan your driver's license before you place the order if you want to pay.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That's a good
They're not
idea.
doing it.
That is a very good idea. And wouldn't that be, Breanna, you send 100 pizzas to somebody's, that's like $2,500, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very expensive for the owners. So a lot
Yeah.
of these businesses are franchise owned. And so I had the pleasure of speaking with one, and he was really upset. He was like, it costs me money. We're not only making the product, we're also short-staffed. So I'm really struggling when I got these orders in to send someone else to even deliver it. And then on top of it, when nobody's paying for it, now I have to pay the delivery driver for his gas. And so it's costing people a lot of money. But the store owners are like, it's costing us a lot of money, yes, but cash payments are about 20% of our sales at this particular location. So they can't afford to say no to cash altogether. So there needs to be something done on a corporate level that protects the franchise owners so they're not paying these expenses, because it is very pricey.
We have a politician in Minnesota who basically is threatening people when he does his speeches, talking about how tough he is, and I could probably kick all of your asses. I have never heard a politician say anything like that what is this with this threatening people now? Why is that such a big deal to people?
I'm sure Breanna's familiar with Governor Tim Walz.
She starts laughing.
Tim Walz out in the fight. He's not that scary to me.
Right.
That's the problem with these folks. They love to sound tough, the left, but they're the ones, the politicians-wise, they're the ones supposed to need security, and they want all this top-notch security around them and this detail. So he's laughable, but the way he's even going after Elon Musk is also laughable.
Yes.
But the left has become so violent, and we don't talk about it enough. That's why I'm trying to continue to push people to use the term, left-wing domestic terrorists. These are people who side with left-wing beliefs, and they are domestic terrorists. Now, if Democrats wanted to disassociate themselves from all this violence, they'd come out and say it. But
Yes.
they don't. They
Right.
ignore, they look the other way, because they like it. They think that this is going to help them in some way. This will scare those on the right to not speak out on these issues. Even the swatting stories, the media's not covering it. I think I saw Fox do a 2-minute hit a week after we started covering it. And so everyone's afraid to cover it because they don't want to be next. But this is why the left does what they do. They know that those on the right are scared. They don't want to get involved in this. They like their peaceful lives, and they just want. But you got to be a shaker, and I'll cover it forever until it stops. But I think we've got a massive problem on our hands, and Republicans need to step into the plate and grow some cojones.
I think you're absolutely right that the conservatives do need to step up, and I'm sure there are many, many Democrats that don't like this very much either. So we all need to step up so this stops. Did you ever follow professional wrestling at all, Breanna?
I did not, no.
Well, I had a couple of friends. They were called the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal. And I will never forget this guy in a bar had too much to drink, and he came over because I used to lift weights with him. So we're all three sitting at a bar in Crystal, Minnesota. And this guy walks over, and he's, acting all tough, and he's this, and he's boozed up and all the rest of it. And I will never forget, Hawk stood up, put his hand on the guy's shoulder, not in a threatening way, but in a friendly way, and said, and I quote, everybody's a tough guy until they meet a tough guy. Which I thought, the guy got the message very, very quickly. There is no chance this guy would have lasted 1 minute against either one of the Road Warriors. But why? I just don't understand. You get that drunk, and get on the phone and get people swatted, or you threaten people, or I don't know one person on this earth, Breanna, that I hate enough to do something like that to them. There's not one person I could think of I hate that much.
And it takes a lot of time. So the person who's doing this
Yeah.
is sitting on the phone with 911, and they're enjoying this. They're sitting back and enjoying all of this. But then they have to go through the next phase of all of it, which is the harassment through pizza orders. And so they're checking out with the places where they die. They're sending you repeatedly orders that don't make any sense. And so it's a low-life loser who has way too much time on their hands, which it's really hard to grasp as to who this could possibly be, because I think that's a lot of those on the left. They just have time to sit around all day and do nothing. They don't work like the rest of us have to. But this is the problem I have with all of these people. We need to be speaking out on it. We should be calling out Democrats. Democrats should be forced to go on the record about plotting and what's going on with those on the right. And the part that was also, I want to keep highlighting this too, InfoWars, they had one of their reporters murdered last week, and that seems to have faded out of the headlines, unfortunately. We still have not been able to catch the individual or the individuals responsible for murdering Jamie White in Austin, Texas last week.
Yep.
But right after Jamie White was murdered, InfoWars started getting swatted. Chase Geiser, we just saw Owen Schroyer. There's other employees who have been swatted and their family members also. So, without disclosing too much, they're being targeted by all of this. They just lost one of their colleagues in a murder that has still not been solved. I mean, they're all on edge. So these are the types of things that we need to prioritize in this country right now. Is helping people out, conservatives out. Even if it's happening on the left, I still call it out. But the fact that most people aren't going to call it out because they don't agree with InfoWars and they don't agree with conservatives. And so everyone's just sitting on the sidelines pretending like they're not seeing any of it.
You know what's amazing about this too, Breanna, is the fact that when I was a little boy, obviously it's not around anymore because of cell phones, all the rest of it, but the phone book used to come out, which had your name, your address, and your phone number right in the book.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I remember being kind of freaked out by that.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
If I know someone's name, I can just find their address and phone number, no problem, huh?
In the phone book. So
the government does it now all the time. If you could Google it, all your government information is online.
That's true.
So it is. You can Google anyone's name and get all their personal information.
It's not that difficult, no.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. Because that was my next question for both of you.
Well, and I want to highlight this to you guys because, when I was calling around, at first when I started hearing about the flying that was going on, I thought it was Texas-based. I reached out to Attorney General Ken Paxton's office for comment on this. If his office is looking to go after these people. And I learned that even Ken Paxton was swatted on New Year's Eve. So this issue goes super deep, and all of our information is online. It's going to be up to both states and the federal government to start pulling back a lot of that information because, your voter registration, your driver's license, whenever you update anything, it updates across all databases, and it's public. There's different types of databases that, you need a little bit more credentials for, but anyone, maybe a lawyer, anyone with any type of background can access this information pretty easily. And so this is why we're in this situation where Americans are finding that all their information is online. I mean, this is how even scammers are able to do it and lie and say, I know your family member and they're in danger and they need your help. And, because they're able to find all this information online. So it's way too much information out there.
It's interesting because looking back at I grew up in the inner city and it was not a very safe neighborhood, to tell you the truth, even when looking back on it. But it wasn't anywhere near as bad as what we're talking here, when people just show up at somebody's house and burn their house down or punch them in the face or whatever. What happened? Why are people so insensitive and hate-filled now? What happened?
Yeah, I think everyone's been nudged, and I think people have been living on the internet for too long. I think you don't have conversations with disagreement politically. I have a lot of friends and family members who don't agree with my politics, and so it makes it a little bit easier because, you realize that those who don't agree with, they're still human beings at the end of the day. I think those on the left sometimes alienate themselves. Cancel culture is a big part of what they do, and so they don't have any type of outside opinions, influence, or any of that. So I think it's a little easier for them to kind of create a bubble and justify their behavior during things like this. But yeah, I mean, those on the left love going out there and being very verbally violent, I would say. I mean, you see Jasmine Crockett from Texas, the congresswoman from Texas. I mean, she's out there. I think it was Laura Lula who reported this yesterday, where she was able to drop in on a meeting that Crockett was having, and she was telling, I can't wait for people to go after Elon Musk, Tesla, and she's just going after them. So their politicians need to be held accountable. You know, I remember not so long ago when we had those on the left trying to hold President Trump accountable for saying things like we need to fight for our elections, we need to fight. And they kept using that word fight as if he was trying to insinuate violence.
Right.
And pushed it all the way to getting criminal charges filed against him. But they don't do that through their own. And they're constantly going out there and insinuating violence through their speech. And I do believe in free speech. But if we're gonna go after Trump for saying let's fight for our rights, you got to hold it to both sides of the standards, and that's what the left does all the time. So I think they're just firing off their base to do these types of crazy things.
And look, I'm not talking about all schools everywhere, but some. Are schools telling people from a very young age how wonderful and special they are, and boy, you're one of a kind?
Oh, yeah.
They're doing that a lot now, are they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, participation awards.
Yeah.
That's a big factor in all of it. You know, we still have it. I also want to mention this too. The Nashville shooting manifesto. We still haven't gained access to that. If you guys recall, those were sadly there was a transgender woman who went in there and started shooting up a Christian school, and you know, everyone kind of looked the other way because it was a transgender individual, and they hid it, and our own federal government hid it from us, and they hid the manifesto, even though that's not something that they normally do. There's pending lawsuits going on right now about that manifesto as well. So this is the problem. We cradle individuals instead of saying, hey, listen, like,
right.
you have issues with your gender identity, but it doesn't make you, we should hop you up on hormones because we don't know what's going to actually happen. We should, you know, take things back a little bit. And everyone's just afraid to do that. We just have to sit here and condition people and tell them, no, you know, that's how you feel. Okay, we'll all comply. So that's what's been going on these last few years, and I think that's why you see uptick in violence.
You know, Breanna, I got to tell you, it's something. The reason I even ask questions like that, I grew up a nice Catholic boy, so I went to Catholic school until 9th grade. And I do remember when I was in 6th grade at St. Joseph's. It's no longer there, so I can tell you the name of the school because the church and the school both have been torn down. But I will never forget the principal of that school at the end of the year came up, and he put his arm around my shoulders, and he said, Tom, I really like you. You're a huge pain in the ass, but I like you anyway. I thought that was very sweet. Wasn't that wonderful, though? I mean, think about how wonderful that was, what he said.
Yeah, he sounded straight with you. He told you how he felt.
Exactly.
No one does that these days. And they wouldn't be afraid to tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
They hurt your feelings. God forbid.
No, there's no question. Basically, what he was telling me, what I took away from that was, Tom, dial it back a little bit because people like you, but you got to dial it back a little bit. That's what I took away from that, and it did help. He actually helped me by telling me that.
Yeah. We can't talk about those things anymore, though. You might hurt someone's feelings. And if you hurt someone's feelings, it might be a bad situation.
It's really, really unfortunate. So, Breanna, how did you get involved in gaining all of this knowledge about how this works? Do you know somebody who got swatted?
So Chief Driver had reached out to me when he was swatted. I was investigating, as a reporter, I was investigating the murder of their colleague. Oh. And when he said that to me, it was quite shocking because it's just the timeline. It happened in about 24 hours after his colleague was murdered. So, you know, I thought something must be up with this. And as I'm calling around and talking to more people, my friend Gunther Eagleman calls me and tells me he was swatted. And then the ball just kept rolling. So that's how I got to that point. But, you know, my background largely is in the corporate media world. I spent 10 years working there.
Okay.
Prior to starting the independent route, I used to work for Fox. And so I was really upset about how at Fox and other outlets we just never covered the news stories. We covered the safest stories, you know, violence in Democrat-led cities and
right.
Those were safe, but these types of stories we would never cover. And so, now as an independent journalist, I'm all over these stories because I think these stories need to be told. There's very few. I'm not competing with many people because nobody wants to talk about it. And so it kind of creates an interesting lane. But, you know, I'm thankful that we have a new administration now in the White House because, you know, I'm reaching out now to them, and they're listening. And then we got the thing from Kash Patel after I reached out to Kash Patel's office. And, you know, the ball's been rolling since then. And Dan Bongino has been very helpful in all of this, also launching investigations. So I'm hopeful that everything will work out, but it makes my job easier covering stories like this now that we have an administration willing to be activated when time is needed.
That makes sense. How did you get the nerve, the bravery to do something like this, to speak out against something like this, Breanna? Because it's very brave of you to do this.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, anytime I've been in a bad situation where I've complied because I hear something, I've always regretted it. And so, back to my time at Fox, when I was relocated to the New York City office, they were complying with an illegal New York City vaccine mandate. And they told me to either comply and get vaccinated or get put on unpaid leave. And so I knew then and there that I didn't want to take the vaccine. I thought it was an experiment. I didn't see any data into it, and it didn't make any sense for me to take it personally. And so I had to make a decision. And anytime I've ever made a decision out of fear or out of pressure, I've always regretted it. So I knew from that point on I wasn't going to do it. And so I tossed away my entire career at Fox and left. And so I've just been on a mission since then to, not get upset, not do things out of fear, not react in that sense, and everything will be okay. And it's always been okay in my life. After Fox, I thought, oh man, I'm never going to find another media job. I don't know how to pay my bills. And then I was able to launch my own career and launch my own independent platform. And so I think that's been a big asset for me.
Breanna, I'll close with this. I already talked about it at the beginning of the show because I tried something. When I post something, I get between 4,000 and 50,000 responses to it. A lot of responses, but on average, I would say it's about probably 4,000 to 6,000 responses to something I post. And last night I posted the fact that I have friends that I love who are Republicans. I have friends that I love who are Democrats. And I just wanted everybody to know that I have nothing against anybody. So far, in a day and a half, it's gotten 780 responses. Nobody cares. Isn't that sad?
I know. Well, I mean, I think this country is waking up, though. If it offers you any type of a pressure, I think this country is waking up. I think that those who are on the left are no longer going to be supporting a party that has gone far left.
Yes.
Keep in mind, I was a Democrat. I was a Democrat until about 2017, 2018. And then I made the switch over, and obviously now I'm full-blown, jumped off the right-wing cliff. But, when you look at people like me, when you look at people like Elon Musk, this country is waking up. And, when you start having these conversations with people, even though they get uncomfortable, you realize you have more in common with them than you believe. And a lot of the times, too, it's a matter of educating people. They don't understand what's going on a lot of these things. So they're fed kind of a mainstream narrative. And so you can use it as a teaching moment sometimes. My family, we have a rule, Thanksgiving, Christmas, don't talk politics at the dinner table. And so I've made it my mission to always talk politics at the dinner table because it's the moment where I'm able to buckle down my sisters and lecture them about how their policies are horrific. And then my dad jumps in and tag teams with me. So it's usually a really fun, eventful thing for everyone except my mother. So I'm going to tell everyone, definitely have those uncomfortable conversations. It's totally worth it. This is how we save this country, by just explaining to people what the other side is thinking.
No question. Breanna, you're always welcome here. Come back anytime you wish to tell us things, because I learned a lot. Breanna Morello. And where do you live now?
Florida.
Well, you live in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't give me your street address. Although in Florida, not a lot of this going on in Florida anyway, is there?
We've got a couple of them, but I have a feeling the swatters, whoever's doing it, is probably looking for me. I'm the most outspoken one. They just so happen to be swatting all my friends after I have them on or after they comment on something. So, good luck. I'm ready.
Indeed. Well, come back soon, Breanna. Love talking to you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes, right after this.
For Brad, John Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing. And people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement, can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Today's show brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. That's cool. I got a little shala in that promo right there. During Josh Arnold, I had said Josh Arnold and he went, shala,
Yes,
which
I
is
did.
good. I think it's good. You know, Andy, it's interesting, and thank you to Breanna again for being on. She was terrific. If my mother were still alive, she was a big-time Democrat, and I mean big-time. Most of my family still are big-time Democrats. And I was until, I guess, about 25, 30 years ago when they decided to come after me. And I don't know what the hell I guess I said stuff they didn't like or whatever. But my mother, Toots, would be heartbroken to know that her party, and I don't think the party's involved in it, but as Breanna was saying, and I'm just basing this on, it's not my observations, what other people have told me, that it is a Democratic thing. My mother would be heartbroken that a Democrat would even think of doing something like this.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? I just don't get it.
I think it's been instigated mostly by the media, I think.
Well, I think you're absolutely right.
Everyone unironically believes that Elon Musk is a neo-Nazi who is trying to resurrect the Nazi party and bring it back to America. So they believe that they are fighting actual Nazis because they've been deluded into believing so.
Why would a Nazi make cars that don't pollute?
I mean, I don't think that really has anything to do with anything. I think it's just
maybe not.
Disagrees with us, so we're going to. Well, I mean, people say Trump is a Nazi, even though, like, I think all of his kids married Jews.
I think at least half of them did.
Like, what they say doesn't make any sense. How many kids does he have? Does he have 3?
I think he might have even 4 because there's a younger one.
5.
5, okay.
I had no idea.
And aren't they, like, 4 of them are boys, aren't they?
3 of them. Barron
3
is
boys and
the
2 girls.
youngest.
Who's the youngest?
Barron.
Barron, yeah. Isn't he like a teenager or something?
Well, not anymore, I don't think.
Not anymore. But yeah, I just, looking back at all the people, I grew up in a Democrat family. I was a Democrat again until the people in the Democratic Party in Minnesota started attacking me. And I still to this day don't know what I did, that they couldn't have just called and said, Tom, why don't we just stop doing that kind of thing? They started attacking me. And I became a Republican for a while. And I don't dislike the Democratic Party and I don't dislike the Republican Party, but some of the people in those parties make me want to vomit. Why do you have to act like that? Why don't we just have 2 parties and everything will be good? If you want 3 parties, 5 parties, whatever it is. But I will say it again. Your grandmother, my mother, would be devastated if she knew that the Democrats were doing things like this. No question.
Like I said, it's, the media's been doing this for quite a while now.
I think you're absolutely right that the media is at fault for a lot of this, and the politicians.
Well, yeah,
a lot of politicians, not all of them.
Yeah,
but a lot of politicians, they make money from things like this, so they're out there chirping too.
A big part of the problem is like what you said. They tell kids that they're extra special, most important people in the world.
Yep.
And the thing is, when you tell kids that, it becomes a lot easier to make them think that important things are going to happen during their lifetimes.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the resurgence of the Nazi Party or something like that, or the fall of America.
Right.
Just like, oh, well, of course it's going to happen during my lifetime because I'm very important. I'm the protagonist of Earth.
Right.
So all the important stuff is going to happen during my life. So they're sure that America is going to fall during their lifetime and they're going to have to fight against the evil empire and so forth.
That's too bad. Well, I mean, when I grew up, Russia was the big threat, obviously. Russia was going to attack the United States, and but I mean, it didn't change my viewpoint on anything. I just think I'm one of those people. If you attack me, I cannot be friends with you anymore. I cannot be shoulder to shoulder with you in your beliefs because I don't, try to ruin people's careers, which a lot of people do now. They go after the money. The whole world, is this all about money, do you think? For the news people?
Less about money and more about power, I think.
Yeah, power is money, though.
Yes, it is.
All right. Any closing words?
No, I don't think so. We got one more. Oh, yeah, we should probably talk about this upcoming schedule.
Yeah.
So we are on tomorrow. We are not on Monday.
Because there's a lot of travel in the family.
Yes. We're going to be on the rest of the week next week.
Just Monday's the only day we're not on.
Yeah. But then the week after that, we're taking the whole week off. Right?
Yes. Well, people do get vacations, and it is vacation time. So,
Yep.
And Bob Sansevier is nice enough. He's going to move from Monday to Tuesday because Chris Eggert couldn't do next Tuesday anyway.
Right. So, yeah, we got everything covered regardless.
So we got Sanny. That's all we need. We got Sanny.
Yes, we
all right,
do.
Andrew. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talk in my door.